Before we get started with this episode, let's take a look at a way that will help us visualize and classify each of the kanji. This is using the idea of radicals. Radicals are basically kanji that are part of another kanji. These can be classified in several different ways. Let's take a look at 7 of these ways. First off, the radical may appear at the top of a kanji. For instance, with this kanji, the radical is here. We may also see the radical at the bottom of the kanji, such as in this one where the radical appears here. Sometimes the radical is on the left side of the kanji, as in this one, where this is the radical. And also on the left side, where in this one we have this radical. Now, some interesting radicals appear in the what is called the southwest portion of the kanji, like this one. Here is the radical for this kanji. We may also see them on the northwest part of the kanji, as in this one, which we will see a little bit later. Here is the radical. We also may see the radical surrounding the kanji, as in this one, where this box shape surrounds the kanji. So the first kanji we'll look at is this one. So using our ideas of radicals, what do you see here? Do you see one of those 7 that we talked about before? And indeed we do. This one happens to be this. And as you noticed, it is a northwest radical. In fact, this radical means door. Here are the brush strokes. We'll go over these quickly. Turn on the laser pointer, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and so that finishes the door radical. And then we have under here we have the moon radical, or the meat radical. Goes 5, 6 with a hook, 7, 8. So the onyomi for this is ken, and the kunyomi is kata. And there's all kinds of katas in Japanese that especially martial artists may be familiar with, but this particular one means shoulder. Some usages of this are as follows. The first one there is katagatame, and the next one is kata no itami. This comes from one of our restoration techniques. Here's the next kanji. Where's the radical for this kanji? If you guessed that, you would be correct. This is the southwest positioning of the radical. In fact, this particular radical means advancing. It could also mean road. Here are the brush strokes for this particular character. If we look at it, sometimes we would draw you would think you might draw the radical portion first, but in this case we draw the inside first. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That part right there, 4, 5, and 6, is almost the same way as you draw a mountain. 4, 5, and then 6. This goes through the bottom there. Now for the radical, you go 7, 8, and then almost you don't stop when you draw a 9. So it's 7, 8, goes like that, and then pause, and then draw the 9 underneath like so. Doing this with a brush, you can see it would look um, like so. The onyomi, the Chinese reading of this, would be, well, this is the key katakana for key, but the two dots there mean to voice this kana. So it'd be, instead of ki, it would be gi. And then the little ya here is means, you don't say it gi ya, but you say gya, gya. And then this is ku, so it'd be gyaku, gyaku. And then it can also be pronounced as, this is ke, but with the two dots there would be ge and then ki, geki. So it could be gyaku or geki from the on reading. From the kun reading, it is sa ka. This is sa, this is ka, so it could be sa ka, sa ka. The meaning of this character is reverse or inverted. Some usages of this are as follows. Here we see gyaku te nage, gyaku te nage, and here we see saka nuki. The key there, this character can be pronounced several ways. So when you put the key here, that emphasizes that this is nuki. So saka nuki. So gyakute nage and sakanuki. And if you do Danzanru, you should be familiar with those techniques. Here's the next kanji. Where's the radical? Is it on the left or is it on the right? In this case, it's on the left. And this particular radical means hand. Now you may be used to seeing hand look like this, but in the radical form of hand, we use it without one of the strokes in the middle. The brush strokes are as follows. 1, 2, with a little kick at the end, and then 3 comes up at a slight angle. 4, 5, and again a little kick there at the end. The Chinese reading of this is, well, this katakana is ta, but with the two marks there, it is da, and it can be said as da or da su, da su. That is the Chinese reading. The Japanese reading would be either utsu or uchi. Utsu, uchi, depending on how it's being used. The meaning of this is to strike or to pound something. Here are a couple of usages of this. This says uchi komi dome, and this one says haya uchi, haya uchi. So those are a couple of techniques from Danzanru that you may see. Here's the next kanji. I think it's fairly obvious what the radical for this one is. It's the surrounding box. In fact, the name for this radical is indeed box. The brush strokes are as follows. We go 1, 2, but we be careful here, we don't close off the box quite yet. We do the insides first. 3, 4, and then we draw another box, and this actually would be a radical for mouth. 5, 6, and then 7. And now we can close off the large box, 8, like so. The Chinese reading of this is ko. The Japanese reading of this is katameru, or sometimes katamaru. Katameru, like that. And the meaning of this character is to harden or to set, somewhat like concrete would harden or solidify. And one of the usages of this particular kanji is in this familiar technique, shiho gatame. And here we use the g sound as instead of the ka sound, shiho gatame. The final kanji in this episode is this one. Now, where is the radical for this particular character? Is it on the top or is it on the bottom? Well, in this case, it's the top. And this particular radical means cave. The brush strokes for this kanji are as follows. First, we draw the radical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we draw the bottom part, 6, 7, 8. You may recognize this bottom part as the character for big that we saw earlier. The Chinese reading of this is as follows. It can be totsu, that's to and then tsu, I'm saying tsu, tsu, totsu, or ka. The kunyomi is tsuku, tsuku, and that can also be said tsuki, as we'll see in the examples. The meaning of this is to stab or pierce or to thrust. And the usage, here's a couple of examples. Tsuki hazushi kote maki. And then another one, isame tsuki nage. And we normally say tsuki instead of tsuki. It's put together tsuki. So isame tsuki nage. And we saw this particular example in the previous episode. I've written several books on Danzanryu related topics, all the way from philosophy to techniques to writing and even historical applications. If you're interested in these books, I hope you will visit Amazon.com and pick up a copy. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and of course subscribe to it. And I'll see you next time.